I'm super excited. Okay, so we have Val in the building. Now look, let me tell y'all, Val, I have known Val since, I want to say 2011, about 2011. And when I tell y'all this woman right here is everything and then some to me and my family. She has been so much to all of us here. And I love and adore her. So welcome, Val.
Thank you so much. It's been a long time. I'm sitting there doing the math. Like that we did meet in person at one point. That was, and if you look at our babies then and our babies now, whew.
Yes, right. And you've been like she said, look at our babies then and now. Like she's been in our lives since my child was like shorter than me.
Yeah.
So that tells you how long she's been in our lives, because that child has been like taller than me since like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild seeing all my babies growing up. You know,
yes.
It's wild to see. But yeah, we family at this point. You've been here for a long haul.
Yes, she is definitely family. I'm telling y'all. So Val has been when I first met Val, I was watching her for a little bit, and then she started, I'm not gonna say started, but she opened up the doors for like mentorship and stuff. And so she mentored me for a while, and she introduced me to Abraham Hicks. And then it just so happens, I don't know how it got, she introduced me to Nicole, and Nicole mentioned S1E Myers. And so I started studying under S1E Myers, and I'm sitting here in a session with Val telling her all these wonderful things I'm doing now. And she was like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, what? And she's like, girl, he was my mentor. Like I did artwork for his books and stuff, and I was floored. So that right there told me that I was more than on the right path in my journey and what I was on with everything. So Val, girl. And she's not only been my mentor during that time, but she has like been in and out as a mentor for me. Always been my counselor the whole time. So when I tell you she knows me in and out, and she knows my growth and everything, that's an understatement. Like she truly knows. So I figured there was nobody better than Val to help me out here with this shadow work project. Oh God.
I'm so proud of you. This is amazing.
Thank you. Proud of you. Now, I will say that you did help encourage me, because you were like, we're never really truly ready. And I was just like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for my story. And she was like, you have to tell it. It has to be told. Mm-hmm. So thank you for the push. But like I said, that you've seen my journey since 2012. And so in this video, I'm actually here to give Val permission to speak on things that we have spoken about in our sessions and things. And this video is more so of accountability for myself, and it's for her to validate. I had to use that word because I know you love that. That's her word. If y'all know, y'all know. Validate the things that I'm saying, confirm, or if I have something either misconstrued or a detail wrong or something, not necessarily wrong, but if she needs to course correct or correct me, she has that, you know what I'm saying, range to do so, because we've had sessions, I've been real raw and uncut with her, so she knows. And if she's like, don't hide that, we ain't gonna hide that. So with that being said, this woman knows all about my struggles, y'all. And when I say all about my struggles, I mean from me fighting me to motherhood to me being a wife and then transitioning out of that and to the person that I am today. So I kind of want to speak to my struggles and how you've seen me like progress and things like that. So I have been talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, you let it flow, let it come out how it is. It's gonna come out exactly how it's supposed to. So where you want to start, from the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? So you tell me, what was that experience after our first session, after we talked the first time, that made it where now here we are all these years later?
After the first session, I was like, okay, look, she gets it. Like, she gets it. She gets me. She understands this weird thing that I'm going through, which we now know is my very first, I don't know if it's the very first spiritual awakening, but I think it's the very first spiritual awakening that I was conscious of. And I'm just like, oh my God, like somebody finally gets it. I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not going insane. Like, she understands where I'm coming from. And then it was also a thing where I can't hold anything back from her because she's psychic and she knows when I'm lying and she knows when I'm bullshitting. So that was another thing too. Like, I needed somebody that had that level of accountability, because I didn't want to just be able to just slide, because I've been through counseling and different things, therapy and stuff, and you can slide. You know what I mean? If somebody really don't know or have that energy or tap, I wasn't able to do that with her. And so I was just like, okay, this is who and what I needed. And I was hooked. I wanted to work with her. I wanted to learn. And I'm a huge geek. So I really wanted to learn. She was like, Art of Manifestation and Abraham Hicks. And I'm like, YouTube, who is this? What is this? And so she opened my eyes and my third eye, my consciousness, she opened it up to so much. And I really feel like you helped me develop a lot of my mediumship gifts and my psychic abilities as well, because you made me feel like they were okay to have. It wasn't a weird thing. It wasn't something to shy away from. It wasn't something that I needed to suppress any longer. And even if I wanted to, I could. So I think that's what it was when we first got off that initial call. I was like, she's it.
Yeah. Because that 2011 version of you, where's she at? This is a whole entire, I've seen a few of you actually since that version.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing that I think that it's just at the core of your energy, the core of your personality, is this: you don't want to let things slide. You do want to hold yourself accountable. You do want, you still have that mindset of like discipline, where it's like, turn it inward on yourself, and you're really serious about mastering yourself. If you're wrong, you want to know you're wrong, right? And you want to see what can we do to go in a direction. So that has always been, I always say people heal themselves in how they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It's you, right? You did the work to even get there and have that desire and commitment to do the work. So that's one thing. But I think at the time that you and I started to connect, you were really looking in the mirror and having some deep questions about like who you were and what, it's almost like you were having an experience of an existential crisis, like, whose life is this? How did and we started from the beginning, and we just started kind of going through things, and things were channeling through, connected to what you were truly feeling. What do you remember about that time in terms of where you were emotionally?
I was a wreck. I was all over the place. Like, I'm hearing, I came in like a wreck. Like, I was so all over the place, and I was looking for such an understanding. But it was just like, I was looking to understand me. I was looking to understand why I was going through the things that I was going through. And I was looking to understand why things no longer suited me, that I really wanted to continue to connect with and continue to have in life. Yeah. One of the things being the church. I know when I came to you, my attitude was trash too. When I came to you, like when I first started, my attitude was like peak trash.
Had lots of walls up. You built
I was so guarded.
Concrete walls there.
Yes.
But at the same time, you know, this is where I always come back to the heart center, and that space of compassion is, I love that the wrecking ball, like that's such a perfect analogy to kind of where you were in your life at that point, where it's like, whatever this isn't working. We need to tear it all down and rebuild it, right? Yes. And a lot of people don't, you know, I see a lot of people wanting to do that, and they don't have the courage to do that because of what it looks like. You know, once that wrecking ball comes in, you know it's coming down, but you don't have a whole lot of control or where is the debris gonna fly, you know, what it's gonna look like. And that process, and you know this process too, of having your house rebuilt,
yes,
all construction, and you go through periods of time where you're like, what did I do? Why did I even start this? You know? Yeah. But that is what's necessary. So on one side you had the walls up, but you also had the courage. You also were wanting to break them down. So yeah, it really took a lot. You know, I want you to always just hold that with yourself, that's self-love. You know, we're always talking about self-love in these terms of spa days and all of this kind of stuff. Self-love is like, if I got to go through hell to get on the other side of it, then, you know, point me in the right direction. I'm about to start walking. I'll bring some water and we'll figure it out. Right.
Exactly. And I think people don't understand that shadow work, the way I'm doing it this way, and honestly, shadow work in general, but the way that I'm doing it is a form of self-love. Yeah. Because when you have a mirror in front of you, I don't have that physical mirror, but when you have that hypothetical mirror in front of you, you can't turn away from you. It's you and you. So that's a level of love and understanding, because you have to have compassion and understanding for yourself and patience to really fight yourself, to really fight through it. Yeah. And as she spoke, like my guard has been up so much, and that's why I'm like, I'm really surprising myself that I'm doing this, because I have been so guarded all my life. And Val has, you know, with counseling and everything, she has helped me knock down those walls and really speak to, like, Val helped me realize that I was molested as a child. I didn't even know that. I knew what molestation was, but I didn't know that I was actually molested. Like, it didn't click until we unpacked it, and she was like, baby, no, you were molested, baby. You were molested and you were groomed. So no. Yeah. So I mean, she has given so much clarity. And that's why I said, like, when I tell you she knows all of the struggles that I've been through, she really literally knows all of the struggles that I've gone through. She's unpacked everything with me. So I really appreciate it. One of the other things that I wanted to touch on too was my struggle with my mom, that relationship. And the relationship now is flourishing, and it's beautiful, and she actually sees me for me. She hears me now, and it's like the blinders are off of her, and we can have that connection. It's like that mother wound is healed, and it's healing. I mean, there's still a scab there. The skin hasn't really, you know, grown in, but it's still a scab there. But the fact that there's a scab, like, we actually allowed ourselves to heal.
Yeah, scab means we're healing. That's what the scab means. You know, and I think that's such a big one right now, and probably will continue to be, because we have this, you know, if I go deep into the woo, right, we have, the world is expanding, the world is healing, the earth is healing itself. No matter what they try to show us in the media, what they try to push to us, the world is healing itself. Just the fact that we're able to sit here and have these kind of conversations, and that there are so many people who, you know, they know the dialogue, they know the understanding, they're doing the work, they're reading the books, they're going to the counselors, intuitives. This hasn't happened before, right? This is when Abraham Hicks talks about the leading edge. I came across Abraham Hicks after my channeling gift came up and slapped me in the face, and I didn't have any, you know, have much control over it all. And I didn't know anyone else directly who had who was connected to something they were channeling. And so I came across Abraham Hicks when I was going through, am I crazy? What is going on? When I was going through all of that, and being one of the first that I connected to, the Seth books, and then Abraham Hicks, that was getting that channeling in. But, you know, when I channel with my guides directly, you know, so Abraham Hicks being Esther, channeling the energy of Abraham. Right. When I channel with my guides, it's so much of it lines up. That's how I knew, you know, had that resonance of authenticity, because I get such a pushback, and I think it's connected for me and whatever my particular assignments are on this life cycle, where I have a hard time hearing people talk bad about the earth. Right. So like, like on one hand, my humanness is like, oh yeah, the earth is ghetto, you know.
Right.
But every time I say, I can't even say it, my spirits come after me every time I say it, because they're like, do you see all the work that's being done here?
Yes.
See the rate at that we're improving. So that relationship we have with Mother Earth, which is the physical matter that we live in, that is just a reflection. We're reflecting that in our relationships with women.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So with the mothers, and this is the first time, there have been no generations before our generation that was able to sit down and have a conversation with mom that might be uncomfortable, that might call her out on some things, that might, you know, pull that vulnerability out. That was not allowed.
It wasn't. And that was the thing too. It had been years and numerous amounts of tries to have the conversation. And do you know, we just sat down and had that we didn't even really have it in depth. We had it in depth enough to tap that surface and to really get that healing going, right? But it was maybe 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
So and it's so crazy that you mentioned, you know, the Mother Earth, how she's healing and things, because I really feel like it's that energy that's trickling down to us as our feminine energy is healing, you know, as you said, and really tapping into having these conversations and tapping into changing how we do motherhood, and changing how we are or how we show up as wives, and changing how we show up as women, period. So that, I mean, it gives me chills.
Yeah. Everybody, you know, these conversations about the divine feminine, but you have to first and foremost have a recognition of, you know, no matter what particular belief system or religion you tie into, you know, we can talk about all the different names of God, but when it comes to this plane of existence, it is only the woman who can give birth to everything, right? So, you know, there is a reflection of God that is always to be seen in the mother that you cannot detach it from. There's nothing you could do about it, right?
Amen.
Some would go so far as to say that, you know, the original woman is God, but that's a whole different conversation, right? It's a hard to dispute one because of where people come from. But, you know, what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a great shift and divide happening, where the divine feminine is coming back for all her shit.
Yep. Right? And the consciousness is just been raised. I mean, the frequencies that people are operating on, and the way and the levels in which they're waking up, it's crazy. And I'm like, yes, I love it. Like I love it. So, and which kind of helps me transition to kind of like I said, you've seen all the struggles that I've been through, and you've seen me conquer so much, like literally conquer so much, to the point where you've seen me, or you've witnessed me changing lives myself as I came into mentorship, of me being the mentor, me mentoring other people, and teaching, and having my own spiritual gifts and services, you know, available to others. And it was something that I was scared of showcasing, for real. And then for me to be like here where I am, and I'm like, I don't care if y'all know I'm psychic, and I don't care if y'all know this, that, and the third, and I don't care if y'all know I'm a priestess and this, you know what I mean? So that is just, it's so crazy to know that, like, where I was in 2012 when we first started this journey to where I am in 2024, how vast of a change, and how, like you said, I have changed people 2-3 times over.
Yes, absolutely. And it's seeing you change so many times, I think that's something that we all have to get more comfortable with, is the idea that we're going to change. You're going to live so many lives inside of this life.
Yeah.
You're gonna die and be reborn energetically, in your ego, in your energy, so many times. Look around us. That's how everything works here.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
It's all cyclical phases of birth and death, or the leaves come up on the trees and then they fall off, and then
that's exactly what I was thinking about too.
Yeah, right. So we're all doing that. And the thing that I find so interesting about being in this space, being in this work, and I know you being in this work now too, you're seeing it as well, is really that's the only issue that we have, is that we're afraid. The fear of change is really the fear of death.
Yes.
Because you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know what's there.
Yeah.
And then you have all this programming that doesn't help. That
right.
That's
we're afraid of letting today's us go and to transition into tomorrow's us. We so desperately want to be tomorrow's us, but getting there, bridging that gap between the two, is scary, because sometimes when you start to cross that bridge, like I said, bridging that gap, and you start to cross that bridge, sometimes you got to light that bitch behind you and burn that fucker up.
Listen, I got a whole thing that's coming out that says exactly what you just said, which is so funny. That's just confirmation. I'm gonna send it to you when we get off of here.
Definitely,
yes. Sometimes you do have to light a fire behind you. And I think that's what we're really collectively experiencing right now is, people say, oh, the cancel culture and this is happening and people are so this and that. I'm saying, no, we were so turned so far in the other direction that now, women are having a voice and people are speaking up for themselves, and we're wanting to know who we are outside of those restrictions that people put on us.
Right.
And I think with your intuition, seeing you come all the way into your gifts was really, they've always been there. Right? When you had what you should be doing, who you should be, what you got to do, the different levels of trauma that you experience, which we all have different levels of trauma, but the specific traumas that you went through, putting you in a space of kind of being forced into adulthood and forced into maturity, It's a lot of women, we go through that and experience that. But what comes along with that is we miss the extension of our childhood. We cut the childhood off at such a young age now, and by the time we get to high school, there's very little childlikeness left in that child. Right. It's so important, because that period of life is where you have to take that lightness and that childlikeness and go play and figure out who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Figure out what you like.
Yep.
But if you came from a family that made you go work, you didn't get that. If you went directly into college and got all that stuff pushed on you without you having any say in anything that you had going on, you don't get that. If you have a child early, you don't get that. If you get in a relationship and get married too early, you don't get that, right? So many people are hopping over those really important years where you have to figure out and discover who you are. And the thing about being forced into these other versions of ourselves, or having to be an adult too quick, is there's so much responsibility that you don't hear your intuition as well. It's drowned out by stress and survival mode. It's in there. We all have it, right?
And then you come into your own, like me, in my 30s, and I want to go out and jump in green puddles and bringing out the inner child, you know what I'm saying? So let the room. So I mean, to be able to have that's what we're giving to our children. That space to be children. The room to be kids. You don't have to grow up so fast. But what's also amazing to me, and that this is speaking on kind of like touching on sessions that you and I have had, me and Monty, I've realized as I was going through things and transitioning and things that were affecting him, he started taking on more of an adult or more mature type of energy that he didn't need to take at the time. And I kept trying to reiterate, like, let me handle, what adults need to handle. You stay in a child's place, you continue to grow up. And so it's also, I don't know why, but it feels like societal pressure as well that plays a big part into it. Even when me as a parent was telling him, like, nah, that's not your role. Like, I'm good. I got this. So we have to be careful of what we allow society, how we allow society to play a part in all of the things too, because that, like you said, has a big, effect on where we are and what we're going through and how we grow. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. But one thing though that I've really noticed with you and Monty, and shout out to Monty, that's my baby.
That is her baby.
For sure. Way bigger than me, right? Taller than me.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed with you guys is that commitment to self-mastery that you have rubbed off on them. It rubbed off on them, all of my young folks and my teenagers that I have regular sessions with over the years, I'm just amazed by their excitement to do the work, right? He's excited to do the work. He's looking forward to doing the work. That came from seeing you. So even if, even when you're going through your times where, you're trying to get it together and sometimes it looks messy or it looks, not the greatest time, you've stayed consistent to your work. So when he, hits his ebbs and flows, as he will, because we all do.
Yes.
He's going to know, oh, I need to go. Where's therapy? Where's counselor? Where's intuitive? Where's spiritual guide? He's going to know that there's tools and resources.
Right.
He can go, do the work and heal through. He knows that whatever he's going through, it's just something to heal through.
Yes.
And that you gave him that, even in the midst of all of what you were going through and experiencing. It's that whole, we always say, do as I say and not as I do. No, he's doing as you do. That's where we're moving into.
Yeah, you're right. And I really thank you for being there for him. And like I said, she's been there to counsel him. She's been there to counsel me, because you have helped him so much. You have helped him cultivate his voice, especially when it came to his voice with me. That baby is like, no, like he is on. And I really appreciate that because it helps me to stay in line as a mom, but it also helps me to check myself too, because I'm not always right in the things that I'm saying or my approach or this, that, and the third. And he's taught me so much. I've learned so much from my child. He's taught me so much, especially patience and unconditional love. Oh my goodness, because we've been through some things. So touching on motherhood, that hasn't always been easy for me because I had to grow up with my child, which is so crazy that a lot of people don't experience. I had my son at 17, and I had to, and we've talked about this, like my life stopped. So there had been, before I started my healing journey, I was always operating as this 17-year-old girl because that's where life stopped. So I didn't know how to navigate motherhood. I didn't know how to navigate things. I didn't know how to navigate my energy, my depression, postpartum, all of that stuff that I didn't know was going on, that was happening. It was like a big soup of stuff. And I really appreciate the healing that took place within myself, because I had to do it first within me before I could let it go over into how I raised my child. And you have really, really been so integral, because you're like, no, that's not how, like, have you thought about your approach and da, da, da. So I really, really appreciate how you have held my hand and helped me to become a better mom for my child.
No greater honor. No greater honor. You know, that's the greatest honor I can think of. You know, I take motherhood it's a big thing for me.
It is
thing for me, and I always kind of have to lead with this, you know, the whole thing about just being a safe space, and also being a space where, you know, we're going to articulate everything, even the uncomfortable things, you know, having that dynamic where I've been counseling the both of you has been because he knows everybody can get, you know, checks. We're gonna everybody can get checks.
Yep.
He's checked him many of times, you know, and always in a space of love. And when I say check, for me, it's funny because we say check and it's all this aggressive undertone to it, but really it's like check in with you.
Yeah.
Is that really how you feel about this? Is that really, you know, because our biggest issues with everybody that we're closely, but especially in the mother and child dynamic, is whatever other stress we have in our life, it's rarely the people who are stressing us that get that energy. It always ends up spilling out into the people who shouldn't be getting it, like our kids.
Right.
Brings us to the conversations about, you know, should you hit your kids and all of these things. And I have really strong stances on only because that relationship between the mother and the child sets the tone for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so many people come to the table and they're like, oh, or I have people who reach out who don't come to me sessions regularly, and that's fine. Listen, you can reach out and book a session for your kid, but I always have to lead with the disclaimer, like, I understand you're getting a session for your kid, your teenager, what have you, but I just want to let you know that it's probably going to be best if you get sessions too.
Yep.
Because it's rarely ever, you know, a lot of times parents will come to me and assume that the child is wrong, right? Straighten them up, get them together, and then I get in there and I get the full story, you know, from this real vulnerable perspective that you're not getting it from.
Yep.
And I'm like, ooh, wait, no, time out, gotta have a conversation, right? So you have just been someone who's just taken that in love and in stride, and hasn't, you know, it's just phenomenal how every time something comes up, you're just like, okay, well, let's, you know, you absorb it and you want to work on it, and you want to, you know, see it in a different perspective. So that check-in is really just checking to see what perspective are we looking at this from.
Right.
You know?
And it was important to me because, as you know, even though people are present in the home, that doesn't mean people are present. So it's always, from literally birth until now, honestly, it has always been me and Monty. His dad has been around, but it hasn't been he hasn't really been an integral part. His presence, like I said, he's been present. But sometimes present doesn't always mean a parent.
Yeah.
So I've had struggles there, and I think that's another reason why I felt like it was so important for me to really work on that relationship that I had with my child, because for one, I didn't want the relationship that I had with my mom to have that same cycle with my child. I wanted him to be able to feel like he was open enough to, you know, I was open enough for him to have any type of conversation with me, whether it be about me or regarding me or something that I've done that it was not, you know, suitable to him or his liking or, you know, whatever, or his growth. I mean, think about it, you know, so for us to work on that relationship that we have, and our relationship is bomb. Like, we have such a wonderful relationship. So, you know, that was important to me because, like I said, sometimes you can have somebody present, but they're not present. And I felt like I had to overcompensate for a lot of years. I felt like I had to overcompensate and I had to hide things. And that's why he wasn't privy to the issues that we were having in our relationship, because I hid so much from him and I made excuses for his dad. And I was the only one who was showing up to any and everything. And I was the only one taking him. I was present. His dad had a presence where he would come home. Sometimes it would be 11, 12 at night. He would come home from work, and it was just my son knowing that dad is there at night. I think that's what it made him secure in a way, and that was enough for him. But it for me, I felt like I had to oh, your daddy got you this, when I really went out and bought it, you know what I'm saying? Or your daddy said that he was trying to come to this event or trying to come to your program and he couldn't make it. He didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? So it was things like that. And I had to apologize. I think we did it on one of our sessions with you. I had to apologize to him for the falsehood of what I presented, because it wasn't what was the reality of the situation at all.
Yeah, that happens a lot. You know, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of, you know, again, contrary to popular belief, most women do not want to be that person with their. We don't want to be that baby mama. We don't want to be that person. We don't want to be the one complaining and, you know, always has something. We don't want to be that, right? Especially when this is someone that, you know, you were married to, that you love deeply, that you had, you know, a whole entire life with. We don't want that, right? And then we love our children so much that we understand the importance of them having a healthy perspective of their father, right? You know, or mother, because I see it in both situations. Mm-hmm. But what we're starting to understand now is that it all comes out in the wash.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost a common thing that I see, you know, women do it, and I see men do it as well. But there's two things wrong with that. The biggest one being when your parents are not authentic with you, when they're not honest with you. That is one of the reasons why so many of us are not tapped into our intuition. Yep. Because they feel it.
He felt it the whole time.
They feel it. They know it's off. They know, you know, it's amazing to me how we think we can, you know, birth a child out of our body.
And then hide from them.
Right? Or have this, you know, and even if it's not your biological child, you being spiritually connected to
right.
You know, there's a connection there. And then when you're lying to them, you're lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? And that makes you feel crappy. You know that you're breaking a trust bond somewhere, and it all comes out in the wash. It all ends up coming out at some point.
Yep.
And you get to a point where you won't be able to hide, you know, the shadows of their other parent, or the shadows of their grandparent, or the shadows of whoever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's so true. And I really felt I really kicked myself because and then I started to do that overcompensating thing again, because when I left his father, it really took a toll on him, and he struggled his entire high school career, and I took that upon myself. I know not all of that was me and on me, because I know that there were some things that he needed to do for him, and he needed to show up for himself. So I can't, and I'm not going to take that all on me, but I do account for the part that I played in that. Yeah. So that was really important for me to express, because I really feel like not a lot of us come to a point where in our healing, in our parenthood, where we can confidently say, okay, you know what? That was my bad. I messed up. Yeah. I got to take accountability for my part in what happened. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was important. And it was important for me to do it publicly as well, because I know one day he's going to see this, not now, but I know one day when he's mature enough, when he's ready, this is going to come around to him, and he's going to see it, and he's going to understand the work that I'm doing here in this project. And that was important for me to say, because it's not only important for him to know, but it's important for it to permanently permeate somewhere, be housed somewhere, so he knows that is exactly how I truly feel. That's how I felt, and that's how I felt as I was growing and getting to the place where I'm at.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's amazing. These levels of, again, this is why we know the earth is healing, because we, I had a really, good relationship with my mother and my parents for the most part. But even when you have good relationships, there's still shadow.
Yes.
There's still things that come of it. There's still, even though I had a good relationship with my parents, you do find out later in life things that they hid from you and things that and I'm just like, well, I could have known. Like, you didn't have to hide that from me. I was mature enough to understand, even though maybe either way, it's going to come out. And I think if we can get into this idea, if we can understand that vulnerability is good, vulnerability is a good thing,
Yes.
You're gonna want those communication lines to be open in a vulnerable way as they go into adulthood, because I get so many people that are coming and sitting down in front of me, women, specifically women of a certain age, women our mothers' ages, or above, who have these fractured relationships with their adult children.
Yeah.
And they're complaining that they don't call them, they don't come visit them, they don't have anything to do with them. And it's like, that kid's 40 now, but that kid trying to have there was an opportunity there somewhere that got missed, where you can open up these communication lines. And so now you have to go and try to do the work, later on in life. And there's years and years and years of trauma. So you doing this work so early on this is the shift. This is the shift that we're here to see.
Yes. And I'm here for it. Like I said, this is something that has been, when I did an introductory video for this project, and this has been something, this here whole situation here has been something that's been 2 years in the making, because I really felt like, and I really think if I had tried to do this before the fire, it wouldn't have been as successful as coming out of that ugliness. So there's, there was so much strength and growing that I had to go through in that. I thought I was gonna go crazy a few times with that. Like you said, coming through like a wrecking ball, sometimes you're like, oh my God, like why am I going through this? Why do I have to? So I'm really,
it plays out like that though, right? So you there's just like I said, what's going on with the earth is reflecting inside of us. What goes on inside of us reflects out into our physical experience, right? So in a lot of ways, I know it doesn't feel like that when you're going through it because of all of the headache and stress and all of that, but it in a lot of ways is very symbolic, ritualistic, in a sense that you actually had to rebuild.
I rebuilt in so many different ways in the past 18 months. And it's beautiful. It's hard and it hurts, but it's necessary. So that's why I feel like I have a duty to do this shadow work publicly instead of privately, like I would have preferred. But we are coming up on my time with you, because I know your time is precious, but I know your time is precious. I really appreciate this. We do have another session that we'll be doing, and we'll be touching on my marriage in the next session. We'll also be touching on post marriage things and the here and now, and maybe a little in the future. I don't know where we can get to that, but I really do appreciate this round one session. I love you so much, and I really, really appreciate you being here to again validate my experiences, and because I think a lot of things that I'm going to be revealing in this series, a lot of people are, number one, I know they're not expecting, and number two, from me, like, it's, you know what I'm saying? So they don't know that I've gone through a lot of things that I've gone through, because I hide things. And like you said, I had a wall. I hide things so well. So for you to come here and validate the things that I have been raw and you've seen, you know, me go through and everything, it really helps me a lot. It really helps me, because I feel like you're helping holding my hand through this, because you know how I am. I'm not that girl that just exposes everything. I ain't that girl, but it's this here. This is my work. This is necessary.
Yeah.
So again,
the thing is, you are that girl, and you're being that girl, and it's beautiful to
right.
You know. So how is this becoming? It's beautiful. Thank you. I'm so honored. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you so much, Val. I appreciate you, and definitely send me the video that you were talking about earlier about the fire, like right behind you. Definitely don't forget to send that to me. I appreciate you. I love you, and I cannot wait for our next session over here.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon.
All right. Talk soon. Bye.